So we're going to be using my practice hand. So let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is have your clients wash their hands and you wash your hands. Now if you want to save some time, what you could also do is get a sanitize spray or just hand sanitizer, which is basically alcohol with water, but you know it's in appropriate quantities, and just spray your clients' hands. And you spray yours. And this is just, you know, if you don't wash your hands, use a 180 grit for natural nails. And so I'm just gonna give them a little shape. And we always file from one side to the other, from the edge to the center, from the edge to the center. You never want to do a seesaw going back and forth. That's just not good. So for purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to skip the thumb because it's just a little bit more complicated when doing with a practice hand than when there's a real person. But when I get a real person in here, we'll do the whole thing. Okay, and all we do is we're just going to start with the pinky, and we're just going to push the eponychium back. This is the live skin, not the cuticle. The cuticle is anything that's on the nail. So we would just gently push the eponychium back to reveal any possible cuticle on the nail. So we're just pretending here because this is our practice hand. Then once we do that, normally what you would see is the cuticle right here on the nail. And so this gel polish tutorial is going to be using an e-file. So I'm going to grab my e-file. This is an arbor band, and this is a medium grit. So I would recommend anything from a fine to a medium grit on an arbor band, or if you have a diamond band only. Anything else, metal bits, do not use on the natural nail. And we're just going to go on the lowest possible setting on your machine, which is usually 3000 RPM, and you do not want to go any faster than that on the natural nail, and you don't want to go put too much pressure. So I'm going on the lowest setting, and I'm just going to grab the thumb over like this, not like this, but over, and we're just going to remove the shine of the nail. That's really what this is for. And here we would be getting close to the cuticle carefully and just removing any of that potential cuticle that's stuck on the nail plate. So we're just going to go gently around the cuticle without pressure, and make sure you're holding the e-file as flat as possible to the nail. You do not want to go in at an angle, or you're going to cause a ring of fire, which basically means you're going to burn your client. So you're just going to want to go as flat as possible. I like to start at the edge and just kind of go up from the center, pull back the skin, and just go around quickly and gently. I am not putting any pressure. I'm just doing that. Gentle, no pressure. I'm using my pinky right here to lean on so that I have full control of the machine. And so you're going to see that using this pinky for painting and for working the e-file is something that you really want to learn to do. Then what I like to do is I like to grab a paper towel and just put it here on the bottom. I'm just using a regular kitchen paper towel, disposable one. And then I like to grab my brush and spray it with some alcohol, and then just brush down, brush the dust down. Okay, now at this point we just inspect to make sure there's not any cuticle. If you see any cuticle in the area, you could come with the smaller bit and just work on the cuticle. But if you don't see any cuticle, this is pretty much, you prepped your nail. So now the next step is just to use your nail prep. Now if you don't have this, don't worry. We just use the alcohol. So like what you can do is just grab a piece of cotton and the alcohol and really rub it in and out. Or just go ahead and use your nail prep if you have it. And you don't want it, just a very, you see how I'm holding my pinky against this finger, and you're just gonna very gently, a thin coat here, and you're gonna pull this out, and you're gonna swipe on this, on whatever side you swipe. You're then gonna go on the side that you didn't swipe, and that's the side that's gonna go on the nail. So you swipe once, and then the product's on this side, and that's the side that you're gonna put on the nail. It's really watery, so you're just gonna do a thin coat, and you're gonna get as close as you can to the skin without touching it. And you wanna do the whole nail. Okay. Then that's drying out. Then we're gonna grab a base coat. A lot of people recommend to stay within the product line. So if you use a Kiara Sky base coat, use a Kiara Sky polish base, coat polish, use a Kiara Sky top coat. Some people mix and match. So I mean, I guess if you're having problems mixing and matching and you're having lifting and chipping, then maybe stick with the same products. I haven't noticed a difference. In the salon, we did mix and match. We had different gel polishes, different brands, and then we had a certain type of base coat and a certain type of top coat that we always use. So, just experiment, and if it's not working for you, maybe stay within the same brand. So here again, the base coat's really watery. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna swipe this in this direction. So whatever direction you're doing, either you're doing this direction or you're doing this direction, it doesn't matter as long as you swipe. And I'm gonna swipe 2 times, 3 times here because it's this pinky, and then you could see the products on this side. So that's what we're trying to do here. And you're gonna go ahead and hold with your pinky. You're gonna use your pinky to lean onto those other fingers of mine, and that's called the fulcrum. And that just really helps to give you stability when you're holding the brush and a lot more control when you're applying. So if this is not something you're doing with the pinky and your fingers, I really recommend you start working on practicing using your pinky and your other fingers to lean on. So here I just swiped some product off, and here we go. I'm gonna get as close as possible to the eponychium, which we always call the cuticle. That's the skin right around the nail, but it's really the eponychium, and it's so hard to say that instead of a cuticle because we're so used to saying cuticle. But yeah, you're just gonna get as close as possible to it, to the skin, without touching it, of course, if you can. So and also you want to kind of go parallel with the nail bed. You don't want to do a deep angle like that. You kind of want to go flat with a little angle, and then you get close to the skin, and then you just get closer and closer, and then put a little pressure, and you see how that brush is flaring, and then you go down the center, and then one side, the next side, and then you cap the tip just slightly. So here I'm swiping off product because there's a lot of product there still, and you'll kind of learn that with practice. So you get close to the skin, you let the brush flare up, and then you just go straight down the middle, then side to side, and then you just cap the tip, which just basically means you're putting a little product there at the tip. Now this product only needs 30 seconds in the light, so we're going to put it in the light for 30 seconds. So read your labels. Every product is different. Some require 60 seconds, some require 30 seconds. If you're using a UV light, which is kind of not the norm nowadays, but if you do have one of the older UV lights, you will need to do 2 minutes, I believe, but just read your instructions. But I mean, there's not a lot of UV lights out there. It's usually LEDs. So we're done with that. So that's 30 seconds. We're gonna grab this. Now we're gonna grab our polish, and we're just gonna mix it like this. Now I was looking why we don't shake it. You don't shake your product because you don't want to create bubbles in the product that could later have problems for you when you're applying it. So you just want to gently roll it between your hands. And then I'm just gonna start with this little pinky. And again, we're gonna do the swipe. I'm gonna swipe twice, maybe 3 times. Hold my pinky on this finger and then kind of flat, but not really flat, to the nail, and then put the brush right here and then get close to the cuticle with, I mean the eponychium, without touching it, and then swipe down and then side and side and side. This is really more watery, and then we're just gonna cap the tip. Now don't worry, that first one isn't perfect. That's still kind of thick, so we're gonna do a thinner coat. I could already see. So I'm gonna swipe half and half a swipe on the other side. So we're gonna go close to the cuticle, I mean the eponychium, flare the brush, and then go down, and then side, side. Now the difference with gel is it's not drying like regular polish. It won't dry till you put it in the light. So I'm swiping once, I'm swiping twice, and then I just kind of touch the tip on the other side just to relieve some of that product, because it's really watery like I said. And then I'm gonna go here, get close to the eponychium, and then go flare the brush close to the skin without touching it, and then go down, side, side, side. It's definitely more watery when it's the gel product. It's just a different consistency than you know, a regular polish. So I'm gonna wipe there, wipe one more time, maybe touch the tip a little just to remove some of that product, and then again put the brush close to the eponychium, and then move the brush up a little without touching the skin, and then letting that brush flare, and then going straight down, and then side, side. And then we're just gonna even that out, and then just get the tip here. Now this one, I did put a lot of product. Now when these nails are waiting, they could do this. So I don't know if you could see that. It's just too much product there at the end. Now if you cure that like this, it's gonna have a bump. So if that's happening to you, I would just come back, and you kind of have to work fast with gel. The other option that you could do is, if you're working on someone, is do one nail, put it in the light, work on the other hand, one nail, put it in the light, work on the other hand, and just go back and forth that way, so this doesn't build up. This it could happen because, like I said, gel is watery, and it's kind of happening on all of them. So I'm just gonna wipe all the excess off of this brush for this purpose, and I'm just gonna wipe off that excess, because it is excess. It's also happening here because my hand is facing down on my nails, and I'm just gonna brush it all down one more time before I put it in the light. Now you could save time and not having to correct what I'm doing now, like correcting the buildup at the tip, by going, like I said, the one finger method, which is you just do one finger and then you put that on the light, and while it's in the light you do the other finger. And even if it doesn't take the whole 30 seconds, just keep going back and forth, one finger at a time. And especially if you're a beginner, that's really going to help you so you don't have that buildup. Also with gel polish, it's not curing in the air like regular polish, so the angle of the hand is gonna matter as far as the product buildup. So because this practice hand is facing down a lot, you know, the product came down, and that's what happens with the thumb when it goes to the side. That's why you always start with the pinky and you end with the thumb and then go in the light, because if you start with the thumb, by the time you get to the pinky, all the product went sideways on the thumb. So if you're having that problem with the thumb, it's probably because of that. So all you need to do is just practice, or, you know, don't hold the hand at an angle, you know, downward angle so much. Be faster just with practice, and or just do the one finger method, and you should be good. We're going to do the second layer, which is going to be easier because it's just for full coverage effect. So here we go. I'm just going to like wipe it on both. So I wipe fully on one side and then only on half of the other side, the side that I'm going to be applying the product. And then I'm just going to go fast here. I'm just going to get close here and go down. I'm just going to go. I'm not going to cap on my second coat, okay? I'm just going to wipe. I'm just going, this is just more to get the full coverage and cover any imperfections, but I'm not capping anymore. And then I'm just going to get close. If I missed anything, this is a good time to fix it. And I'm just going to, so I'm just going to go around again and just make sure that my polish is not bumpy at the tip. And yeah, here we go. So now this goes in the light, 30 seconds, and I'm done with my color. I'm going to be doing a shiny top coat. Just gonna give it a little mix, even though you don't have to because there's no color in here, so it's just a habit that I have. Now if you do happen to get product, base coat, top coat, or the color on the skin, don't worry, just use a brush with a little bit of acetone or alcohol to wipe it off before you put it in the light, or use an orange stick before you put it in the light. So every time before you put it in the light, just make sure there's nothing on the skin, and then just go ahead and clean it. So don't feel bad if you have product on the skin, because it just takes practice not to get product on the skin. So here we're gonna start with the top coat. Half on the other side, that's the side that's going on the nail. So, cause it's very runny. And again, I'm gonna get close to the skin without touching it, then get really close without touching it, then letting the brush flare, and then just going straight down, and then side to side, and then I could cap on that one. Side to side, then kind of cap one, half on that side. It just depends how your product's working. Like if it's really runny, it might be very thick and you don't need to do that, or you might be running out and you don't need to do that. So it's just a question of practice and gauging how your product's working. So here we go, we're gonna do that, and then side to side, and then just make sure it's not bumpy. Then this is gonna go in the light for 30 seconds. Now normally gel polishes don't get soaked in water because you don't want a wet nail before you put the gel polish product, or else you're gonna make the polish fall off faster. So you always wanna work on dry nails when you're doing gel. And if they are doing a spa manicure where they're getting a scrub or a special treatment, you want to do the soaking after you do the gel application, versus when you're doing a regular polish, you're going to be doing the soaking and the prep all before putting the polish, because you can't touch that polish. So I messed up and I didn't record the part where I grabbed alcohol on a lint-free wipe and then wiped off the nails after they came out of the light, because a lot of top coats produce a sticky layer that you wipe off with that alcohol. Don't use acetone, but some products don't have the sticky layer. But just after you wipe that stuff off, we're going to proceed with cuticle oil, and yeah, that's going to be the last step. Now, with gel polish, you could rub and touch, of course, the nail, because this is already set. It was set in the light, and a lot of people here, would just massage it around the finger. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you do. But yes, a few tips on gel polish manicure is don't soak the nails before you apply the gel application. Don't put any oils before the gel polish application. Leave any soaking or scrubs and oils after you apply the gel polish and you cure it. I hope this helps you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. I would love to hear from you, and I'll see you on the next one.